Most people are trying to figure out what is going to happen next. But the better question is not prediction, it is direction. Because major economic shifts do not appear suddenly. They build over time, often beneath the surface, and only become obvious after the infrastructure supporting them is already in place. Right now, several foundational systems are expanding at the same time, and they are directly connected. Artificial intelligence is increasing productivity across multiple industries. In software development, AI-assisted coding tools are already capable of generating large portions of code, reducing development time significantly. In logistics, machine learning systems are optimizing routing, inventory management, and demand forecasting. In research, AI models are accelerating data analysis and simulation, allowing faster iteration cycles. But none of this exists in isolation. All of these systems rely on computation, and computation requires physical infrastructure. Modern AI systems are trained and deployed inside data centers. These facilities are not small. Hyperscale data centers can consume anywhere from 100 to 300 megawatts of electricity each. That is comparable to the energy usage of tens of thousands of homes. According to projections from the International Energy Agency, global electricity demand from data centers, AI, and cryptocurrency combined could more than double within the next few years. That creates a direct relationship between AI growth and energy demand. Energy is not a secondary factor in this shift. It is a primary constraint. This is why energy investment is increasing at the same time AI investment is increasing. Oil and gas continue to provide reliable baseline energy because they can be dispatched consistently. Nuclear energy is being reconsidered because of its ability to deliver constant output without interruption. Renewable energy is expanding, but it requires battery storage and grid upgrades to manage variability. This is not a replacement cycle. It is an expansion cycle. Energy systems are being layered to meet a new level of demand created by computation. Now add financial systems. Traditional financial infrastructure is built around intermediaries and delayed settlement. Cross-border transactions can take 1 to 3 days. That delay introduces friction. New digital financial systems reduce that friction. Faster settlement reduces counterparty risk. Reduced risk improves liquidity. Improved liquidity increases economic activity. When capital moves faster, businesses can operate more efficiently. Investments can be deployed more quickly. Markets can respond in real time. So what you are seeing is not isolated progress in 3 areas. It is an integrated system forming. Artificial intelligence increases output. Energy enables that output to scale. Financial systems move the value created by both. When these systems evolve together, they create a feedback loop. More output leads to more demand for energy. More energy enables more computation. More computation creates more value. And faster financial systems move that value more efficiently. This is not incremental change. This is structural change. And structural change always points in a direction toward higher productivity, toward increased efficiency, toward reduced friction between effort and outcome. But early in that shift, it does not feel clear. It feels uncertain because the underlying system is changing before the results become visible. There's another layer to this that is critical to understand: the role of environment during periods of technological expansion. If you study previous economic transformations, one pattern appears consistently. Innovation accelerates when the surrounding environment allows systems to scale. This does not require perfect conditions, but it does require alignment between infrastructure, capital, and the ability to build. During the expansion of railroads in the 1800s, growth was not driven by transportation alone. It was supported by steel production, financing systems, and land access that enabled large-scale construction. Without those supporting systems, railroads would not have scaled the way they did. During the electrification of industry in the early 20th century, factories had to be redesigned to take advantage of electric power. It took decades for the full productivity gains to be realized because infrastructure had to be built first. During the rise of the internet, the key shift was not just computers, but connectivity. Once networks became widespread, businesses could scale globally. Information could move instantly. Entire industries formed around that capability. In each case, the pattern was the same. Technology alone was not enough. It was the system around the technology that created transformation. What you are seeing now follows that same structure. Artificial intelligence is advancing rapidly, but it requires semiconductors, data centers, and power infrastructure. Energy systems are expanding, but they require capital investment, grid upgrades, and long-term planning. Financial systems are evolving, but they require adoption, integration, and trust in digital infrastructure. When these elements begin moving in the same direction, the result is not immediate clarity. It is acceleration over time. Right now, there are measurable signals of this alignment. Technology companies are investing tens of billions of dollars into AI infrastructure. Energy companies are increasing investment to meet projected demand. Governments and institutions are identifying AI, energy, and digital systems as strategic priorities. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. At the same time, much of the public conversation focuses on risk, job displacement, economic uncertainty, market volatility, and those risks are real. But they are only one side of the equation, because at the same time, infrastructure is being built, capacity is expanding, and systems are beginning to connect. When that happens, historically, it leads to periods of sustained economic growth. Not immediately, but over time. So what does all of this lead to? It leads to acceleration. When productivity increases, output increases. When energy availability expands, capacity increases. When financial systems become more efficient, the speed of economic activity increases. When all three happen together, the effects compound. This creates periods where growth is not linear. It accelerates. Historically, these periods have produced significant economic expansion, but they have also created divergence. A gap forms between those who recognize the shift early and those who do not. Not because one group is inherently more capable, but because one group understands the system earlier. Timing matters. During previous economic transformations, early participants were able to position themselves before the broader population recognized the change. By the time the shift became widely understood, much of the initial opportunity had already been captured. That does not mean opportunity disappears, but it does mean the nature of opportunity changes. Early stages reward awareness, later stages reward execution. Right now, we are still in the awareness phase. The infrastructure is still being built. Energy systems are still expanding. Financial systems are still evolving. The connections between these systems are still forming. That is why the current moment feels unclear, because it is not complete. But historically, this is exactly what early-stage transformation looks like. Fragmented, uneven, difficult to interpret, until, over time, the structure becomes visible. The key is not predicting every outcome. The key is recognizing the direction. Because once you understand the direction, you begin to understand the implications. You stop reacting to individual events and start seeing the system behind them. And that is where real clarity begins. Because by the time the system is obvious, the majority of the shift has already taken place.